Yeah, that's actually a good one. Um, I have, and I'm still interested in it, but as I was leaving the Secret Service and planning my move for Tampa, I was actually planning it for more of the St. Pete Gulfport area because there was a hotel
Mm-hmm.
that, well, actually, I was looking at different markets, one of which, for being out in LA, was Palm Springs, and then Austin, Texas, and St. Petersburg, Florida, and eventually Gulfport. And those were the three top markets to get into hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a property in Gulfport. There were a bunch of properties throughout the St. Pete area, but there was one that I was actually under contract with, and we had to back out because basically we caught them cooking their books and all kinds of other things that,
Wow.
as a still sitting federal agent, I couldn't just glance through. But one of my consultant that I had at the time was the host of the now off the air TV show Hotel Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember that from like the Travel Channel,
No.
this guy, kind of like Gordon Ramsay of hotels,
Okay.
he would come into struggling hotels, show them what they were doing wrong, fix it, renovate a room for next to no money, so that they could do it, with extra money when that money came about, and go systematically through the hotel and renovate the whole entire hotel. A guy named Anthony Melchiori says that he does not make resolutions; he makes plans,
Ah. Okay.
and that's kind of sounds very much like what you're saying there. Is that not just making a resolution, but getting through a systematic procedure to maintain it and keep up
Mm-hmm.
with it. But
Very good. Yeah. So anyway, there are some tips that I read about in one article. But even before that, you know, we were talking about our thoughts about resolutions.
yeah,
And one article talks about 5 New Year's resolutions that benefit brain health. You want to guess what one of them is?
I would say two are probably eating correctly or eating better and sleep.
Whoa. Yes. That is certainly, those certainly are possibilities. And eat a better diet is number 5 in this article. And suggesting the old Mediterranean diet, I suggest sides, eating sides,
Yeah, yeah,
because that's what Paul and I have been doing lately. And so we start our day with, with crunching celery and carrots, and then, we're not quite so hungry for food later on. But the first one, you want to guess another one? Or do you want me to just tell you? I hate guessing
well,
games, by the way.
yeah, because I actually got a couple ideas. So I've said food, I've said sleep. One of the other
Hmm.
things I've been seeing a lot, and you actually mentioned this too, so maybe this is where I'm getting it more recently, but I have seen it, and that is teaching yourself to be happy.
Ah, well, one of them is make more time for fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
make more time for fun. Start a new hobby. Same kind of thing.
yeah,
Obviously, get moving is the top one. And then the other one that's popular these days is practice mindfulness more. It's an exercise in paying attention to one's surrounding senses and so forth. And that always reminds me, and I think I've talked about this before, that always reminds me of how I enjoy doing the dishes. I like the
really,
soapy, warm water. I never really was on my kids to do dishes for me because it was one of the ways that it was a Zen moment for me because I paid attention to the warm water, to the bubbles, to cleaning something till it was squeaky clean, and setting it aside. That was always a fun thing for me. But again, the 5 are get moving, start a new hobby, make more time for fun, practice mindfulness, and eat a better diet.
yeah,
Those for better brain health. And as you said, I think sleep is important in there as well. It's always important too. And then right beside it was another article on nutrition, some treasures to look forward to in a new year. And one was the one I liked was chocolate. That chocolate's
Fine with
getting,
that.
yeah, the dark chocolate, the fat-free part, or the lower in fat dark chocolate, is getting some attention. Also to look forward to, learning new stuff because that feeds our brain, and that's a good thing. And then the third one that's mentioned is all about it reminds me of um, uh, Aristotle's points about being happy, and that is to maintain moderation in all things.
Yeah.
That middle path kind of.
I don't do so well
Another
with the
thing,
radio stuff there.
what was that?
I don't do so well with like radio and podcasting there. I'm kind of sort of
Uh,
always.
Or I believe, shall we say, adult beverages. I understand that you have really explored all the flavored brandies, peanut
No,
butter,
Amy
caramel,
clearly ratted me out. Uh,
melon. Yes, she
bourbon,
did.
essentially. Yeah.
She did rat
Yeah.
you out.
Bourbons. Um,
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
bourbons.
not
Okay.
a bourbon whiskey. I'm not a whiskey guy at all. But what
Mm-hmm.
happened was my neighbors are, and when we exchanged gifts,
Mm-hmm.
um, I was going to, as you said, New Year's Eve or Saturday before Christmas, one of the two, or Christmas Eve or Saturday, 2 days before Christmas. I went to the liquor store to get myself something because there was just rum I wanted to buy. That's my drink,
Mm-hmm.
as you know. And
Yes.
I was
Spiced
getting
rum.
stuff for them. The husband, the male next door neighbor, is a vodka drinker. The guy two doors down, who moved away but comes back every year, is a Scotch whiskey drinker. And the two ladies, my next door neighbor and another lady that visits all the time, are both Canadian whiskey drinkers.
Mm-hmm.
And she said to me that she's looking for this one whiskey that's right inside the door at the liquor store that is salted caramel.
Mm-hmm.
And right inside the door, I found a display that had salted caramel. And so I sent her a picture. She said, "No, that's not, that's too expensive. It's the cheaper one over by the ice machine."
Mm-hmm.
So I
She
go,
knows
and
her
that flavor's
store.
not there. It was,
Okay.
oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's, let's see, right now as we film this, it's 1:15. She's probably into cocktail number two or three by now on the day.
Oh boy.
They're professionals next door. Their
Okay.
bar room, the
Is
room
that the
in
one
their
with four
house.
TVs?
Yes, as I was just going to say, their
Mhm.
bar room is the size of this studio and my bar room combined, and there's four TVs on the wall.
Wow.
And
Wow.
for the one game we were watching, I forget which one it was. They're all on Wi-Fi, which is a horrible move to watch them, with any quality. And none of the televisions were synced. So
Oh
we were
boy.
watching the same play four times over a span of like 2 minutes. And we felt like we were the NFL replay booth in New
Right,
York.
right, right, right,
Because
right.
not only are there all these TVs, but we can see the same thing from different
Over and over.
angles within
Yeah,
minutes, within seconds of each other.
that's
So,
funny.
yeah, she said, "Give me this salted caramel." And I find it. And she says, "No, it's too expensive. I want the cheaper one closer to the ice machine." I'm like, "Well, all I have there is apple and peach." And I wound up getting the peach
Mm,
for the guy that likes the scotch because I couldn't find a good scotch that I could afford. Um, so I said, "Well, who is this for? You know, if it's can I get this for you for a
mm-hmm,
gift?" And I'll pay the extra money because you're my next door neighbor. We feed each other, and whatever else.
mm-hmm,
And she said, "Okay, yeah, go ahead. That's it's what Eileen and I both drink." So I got 2 bottles of this salted
mm-hmm,
caramel,
mm-hmm.
not knowing that because the labels were the same color for these two particular flavors, not knowing that one of the two salted caramel butters was actually peanut butter.
Oh.
And so I give the two bottles to him, and Eileen, the one lady that lives a couple towns over, says, "Oh, peanut butter." Like, that's
Peanut
not peanut
butter?
butter. And I'm like, "What the?" And it
Yeah.
was just like a lighter shade of brown on the label,
Okay.
and I didn't catch it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I took that, and now I owe them another bottle of salted caramel. Well,
So how did you like the peanut butter though?
that's still my favorite one.
No
I,
kidding.
I opened that on my own. If not New Year's Eve, Christmas Day, it was gone by Wednesday.
Oh,
It was
goodness.
gone 2 days
And
later.
since then, you've tried a couple of other flavors?
Yes. So since then, I would have got the peanut butter back, but again, I'm on the fixed income now. I got to behave myself.
Mm.
Um, I got I got a bottle of maple syrup,
Mm.
which isn't bad, but at first there was just like a really strong
That's true.
alcohol flavor, like they're
Uh-huh.
really trying too hard.
Okay.
Um, and then the second one was the salted caramel. Yeah, I got the salted caramel,
I thought
and
there was one. I thought there was one of some kind of fruit.
oh yeah, they have a bunch. I mean, I think I sent why she knows about it. I sent her the video that I sent all my neighbors
Hmm.
um, of me just like going down the shelf. Let me see if I can
Yeah, I
find where
can't
my
remember
pictures
what it
are.
was.
Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, there are a bunch. And here we go. Apple, peanut butter. Um, why can I not see that? Peach. Um, yeah, apple. Uh, oh, then there's the basic honey flavored. Um, uh, uh,
That's quite a collection.
oh yeah, there's like three or four more here. Let me just get to it. It's scrolling through. Peach. That's what I got for the neighbor. Maple, vanilla, salted caramel, cookie
Wow.
dough. I skipped one there.
Cookie
Peanut
dough?
butter, cookie
Get
dough.
out.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
and that's
That's a
the
lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. Well, we'll keep you busy. How's that?
yeah. Oh, it did. Um, there's this one it missed here. What's this one? Oh, walnut.
Walnut. Okay. All right. All right. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
it's by a company called Cooper's Mark.
So you're going on a full tour, full tour of those particular
Yeah. Well,
flavors.
I don't know that I'm gonna make it through all of them, but
Well, you've got a whole year now.
yeah, yeah. One more reason to monetize the station and the podcast.
Absolutely. So we were talking about moderation being something to look forward to. So your budget will help you do the
Yeah,
moderation.
yeah,
But I did look
exactly.
up Aristotle's Secret to Happiness, and it was a lot of stuff, but boils down to, having a good character and doing good things and being moderate in all things. So I didn't copy it or do much of it. But I always respected Aristotle for his definition of tragedy. So I thought his definition of what is makes for happiness, and happiness is not. He said one of the interesting things I read about was that he said happiness is not, it's not a daily thing. It comes to you at the end of your life. or when you're older, and I guess can look back and be happy about it. I don't know. Anyway, other things to look forward to are sharing, like food, and um, part of each holiday situation, gratitude to look forward to, making, appreciating, being thankful. Another thing, making the old new, new ways of cooking, old things. That would be my raisin drop cookie thing.
So yeah, but you know what I think about that often
What,
is
raisin drop cookies?
no, no, not
Oh,
a raisin guy, but
happiness.
when like Gordon Ramsay goes into a restaurant and revitalizes it and says, "Well, your recipes are from the 1950s."
Okay.
Well, if that's so bad now, what was good food in the 1950s?
Mm.
I mean, has it really improved? Or are
Uh,
we just that different that we like other spices or other seasonings or
I don't know. There's a lot of minimalism. There's a lot of, to me,
from the 50s?
today, today, no,
Oh,
today.
today.
Yeah. And different, like you say, lot more farm to table, a lot more
Yeah,
organic, a lot
yeah,
more healthful, natural to me than the 50s, which was about margarine,
right.
which is only one molecule away from, I forget, plastic or
Grease.
something.
Grease used on
Gr-
what's called the fifth wheel. Do you know what a fifth wheel is?
no, I do in relationships, but
But that's third wheel.
well, I also know fifth wheel. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, a fifth wheel on a truck is on a tractor trailer.
Okay.
It is that flap that's thing, that the big flat tire flap thing that you back up into the trailer.
Okay.
And the little knob or whatever that's on the back of the trailer clicks on to this fifth wheel that's on the truck. And that's what the front end of the trailer pivots on as
Okay.
you're driving down the road and turning right and left
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
on.
Hmm.
Margarine was actually first developed to be the grease between the fifth wheel and the trailer.
Oh, get out. Yep. Yep.
One of
Well, I
one of
grew
my
up.
housemates in DC was a trainer at one of our local gyms, and
Hmm.
he gave me the article that he wrote uh, with like the whole history and citations and everything, saying,
Hmm.
"Are you sure you don't want to just use a little butter?" And I've used butter ever since.
Hmm. I grew up on margarine until
Yeah.
I realized what it was and switched to butter
Yep.
immediately. Yeah. 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 So let's see. So making old new, the importance of time, like trying not to get bogged down with trying to make everything perfect. What do they say? Perfect is the enemy of the good. Anyway, taking time for a cup of tea with friends, new beginnings to look forward to, knowing that we can start each day fresh. And then the last one that's mentioned in this article is hope. And I have read several times, probably in Facebook memes or something, that people sometimes think that hope is this really frail thing. Hope is a thing with feathers, right? That suggests
Yeah.
that it's kind of vulnerable. And I read in some kinds of articles or columns or memes or something that hope is really a tough thing. It's fierce. It's, you go through crap. And if you can, after all that crap, come out somehow hopeful, that means that hope must be pretty tough.
Yeah.
Not not timid, not frail, but like steel. So I thought that was kind of an interesting article. So new knowledge, chocolate, moderation, sharing, gratitude, making old new, time, the importance of taking time, new beginnings, and hope. And I tell you what, hope is something that's really needed
Yeah.
in my world. I mean, when I look at political situations and whatnot, um, really needed today. Yep.
I
So
still
there we go.
say, and I know this might be the only source of your hope, but I still say not to pay attention to the polls that are out,
I'm
that have been out,
I'm hanging my hat on that. Yeah.
um, because the bigger indicators are the three right now. First of all, the media wants to make themselves remain relevant,
Right. I recognize that.
and they understand how their consumers of media, whether it's a viewer or a reader or a listener,
Hmm. Yep.
is dependent upon them.
Hmm.
And as we already just proved, I need you to send me that article, by the way, or wherever you got that information, so I can look at it too. That's about the top searched items or subjects from 2023.
Okay.
Because,
All
like I
right.
said in that episode, it just proves that people are not doing their homework. They are not
Okay.
doing their own fact checking. And as a result, they're relying on the media who's going to tell you what they're going to tell you.
Hmm.
And so if Joe Biden, any sitting president, re-election is theirs to lose.
Right.
None have gone into, well, actually I think Clinton did, but very few have ever gone into re-election with a very high approval rating. Because
Really?
after 4 years, you're no longer the new toy.
Okay.
And because you haven't made the entire country millionaires, they don't like you as much anymore.
Right. Right.
And we're just
Right.
now finally starting to see articles about how inflation is down and has been down for I don't know how many months in a row, or I don't know if it was months or quarters, but however it was measured, it's been down for
Yep.
like a record period of time,
Yep.
or on a downward trend on a record period of time. Unemployment is at record lows. Gross domestic product is at record highs,
Hmm.
which means we're pumping shit out to the rest of the world.
Well, I think you said it. We haven't made everybody millionaires.
Yeah. And that's what I tell people. I say
Unreasonable expectations. Yep.
just because you can't balance a checkbook, that's not Joe Biden's fault.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Because where did I see this too? Oh, I maybe one of David's episodes. But at in 2020, at the end of the Trump administration, 80% of Republicans thought the economy was great. Less than a year later, with improvements having been made in the economy, only 12% of Republicans thought the economy was great.
Mhm.
The only change to them that would be remotely negative is that Donald Trump was no longer in the White House.
Right. Well, yeah. Yeah. And that to me is the most depressing thing that
Yeah.
we have we have sheep
Yeah. I've said that.
all over.
You can be a conservative, you can be a Republican and not be an asshole.
Mhm. Yep.
But people like that, Mitt Romney, Lynn Cheney, they get voted out.
Hmm. Yeah, and listen to what they are saying. And Paul Ryan, you know, John Boehner,
Yeah.
all those guys. I mean, and doesn't seem to matter. Anyway, I don't want to go down that road right
Yeah.
now. It's too depressing to me. It really takes a hammer to my hope. So, you know, we'll stay clear of
Yeah.
that for
So
now.
to finish that thought and hopefully build you back up a little bit,
Okay.
I've seen even even on when we talked about in the last episode where there was everybody, all these conservatives starting the new year off bashing liberals and Joe Biden and Bill Clinton and whoever. In all of their posts, which usually has their followers commenting,
Hmm.
I've seen a lot of the liberal, progressive, Democrat, GOP haters, MAGA haters firing back, myself included, with, in the example of Ryan Seacrest and President Biden, Jill, First Lady Biden, was sitting there with the president. And my response was, who is that with President Biden?
Hmm.
Oh, wait, it's just his wife. We're not used to seeing that with a president
Hmm.
because Melania has been a ghost.
Hmm.
Also, what I've noticed, because I was able to follow this previously, and I think it's being caught on to. If you look at the individual donations to their campaigns,
Hmm.
like from Jane Stahl,
Hmm.
not from drug plastics, not the
Hmm.
corporate donors, or not the money that was redonated from a super PAC, but
Hmm.
just the individual to the campaign. Joe Biden was leading Trump almost 2-1.
Hmm. If
Now
that
that doesn't
translates
fit.
into votes, that would be great.
That doesn't fit with the narrative
Hmm.
that he's losing in the polls.
Hmm.
So they don't release that information anymore.
Huh.
And the Democratic National Committee is not going to fight that because they know the truth.
Well, is the ploy, to use a word, heavily loaded, connotative word, is the ploy to create such fear in the American public that unless they get to the polls and vote for Joe, that he will lose.
Yeah, you don't even have to finish your statement. And as soon as you said fear, I could say yes.
Yeah.
Because that and again, that's what part of what David teaches is that it's not just anger, it's fear. And I've always said,
Yeah.
as the political scientist in me, I've always said
Hmm.
there's nothing like a good old fashioned Republican scare tactic.
Yeah. 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 Well, in this case, it seems to me it's the good old fashioned Democratic scare tactic.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that, and that the media is holding back on the fact that Biden is really on some level leading. Depending
Hmm.
on how you want to look
You
at it.
can't let people get too comfortable.
Comfortable. Yeah. Yeah, that
Mhm.
happened in 2016, didn't it?
How about that? Yep, it certainly
And
did. It happens
be
all the time. Yep.
yeah, to be clear about something with campaign funds.
Go ahead.
Do not look at the overall fundraising total. That's not indicative of what's going to happen in the election because Biden is leading there as well.
Hmm.
And he's also the only thing Trump is leading in is the amount of money that's being spent. Biden even hasn't
Yeah.
spent any money yet. And that's one of the reasons why, as a sitting president, reelection is yours to lose. Because if you
Hmm.
have the productivity that his administration has had, especially with infrastructure stuff, which was a
Hmm.
campaign issue back in 2008,
Hmm.
just going around doing your job as president. and in this case, often Secretary of Transportation, that's campaigning enough. And as long as you watch your language, in
Mm-hmm.
other words, don't make it about voting for me and voting for me and voting for me.
Mm-hmm.
Make it about
Gotcha.
that
What?
your previous campaign promise was that you would be a president for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And now here we are in Lauren Boebert's district who voted against this bill as we fix your bridges
Mm-hmm.
and train tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are in Marjorie Taylor's Greens district
Well,
who voted against the bill, even
and
though she
yet,
tried to claim credit for it.
right, and yet, it seems to me people are saying, "Oh, well, who cares about that? What we really like is the drama. What we really like is the cartoon figure. What we really like is the anger that's stared at. What we really like is the passion that Trump ignites in all sorts of things. That that infrastructure is boring. Nobody cares about that. What
Yeah.
we want is the excitement that this president, former president,
So
that
I
this
don't
former
think
president is able to inject in our
I don't think
lives, and then
that's
we can feel alive.
yeah, I don't think that's totally true either.
No.
Because and again, here comes the complacency. If you actually look at his events, the ones now, they're all but empty.
Uh,
They're all but empty. They're not 2016 arena level.
I guess what
And
I
he's
see,
canceled events
yeah, yeah, what I see are still, you know, reporters like what's his name? Uh,
from
I
which
forgot.
network?
On Trevor Noah's show, the guy who would go to all of Trump's events and interview all the,
Justin Jared or Justin something, tall
yeah,
white
yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah. He's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
just to listen to him interview different people and just how enamored they were of about this disgusting individual.
Yeah.
It, talking
I
about taking
I
a hammer to my hope.
often
I mean, how can people be so stupid?
I I, I often wonder because I'm critical of all kinds of stuff like that on both the left and the right.
Hmm.
I often wonder how much of his interviews, I won't say are staged, but just like the polls that the media puts together, is he going after the guy wearing the red, white, and blue cowboy hat?
Well, of course he is, because that he's an entertainer.
Yeah,
He's an entertainer. He's not a journalist. But our political our political environment is all about entertainment. It's not
yeah,
about,
right.
we're all about entertainment.
Fox News has admitted
Hmm.
in open court they're
They're
not
not.
news.
Right, 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 right,
And
right.
the other actual number one source for America's news is the Comedy Channel.
Right.
Taylor Noah and Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
And now,
Steven's on
now another one. I don't know what channel he's on. I don't know if it's HBO anymore or not. But Bill
Jordan
Maher,
Clapper. Jordan Clapper.
Jordan Clapper is the guy we were just talking about. Yes,
Yeah,
not Jared.
I just
Jordan.
had to get that in there. Yeah,
Yep, that's
yeah, yeah.
correct. Yes, and Bill Maher
Hmm.
is also. I don't want to say a lot like me because I don't want to compare myself to somebody who's actually successful, but he'll bust on both the right and the left.
Hmm. Yeah, he will.
He's not for being woke as in far left woke.
Hmm.
He's into being more like Howard Stern woke in that, yeah, you're supportive of somebody who's trans. If they want to, transition over, that's their doing, not mine. And I shouldn't have anything to say about it. And, also with the far right, banning books and then telling everybody how free we are.
Hmm. Uh, uh,
Yeah.
We don't want to go there with
But
this
again,
English
another
teacher.
comedian
Yeah.
that
Hmm.
is a huge source of people's news.
Yeah. Yeah. But I guess you got to get people where they are. And if they are tuned into comedy, I guess that's where you go for their news
Yeah.
or to deliver your news. You go to where the people are and talk in their love language, which is entertainment and comedy and drama and passion and anger and resentment and all those things. Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, so to maybe wrap up resolutions as we finish this particular episode, let me just share with you the tips that that are not new. They're kind of boring,
Okay.
but the tips are to write them down, your resolutions. Make them small, baby steps, so that they are accomplishable. Be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up for falling off the wagon, as it were, for got not getting to the gym one day. Just try again. Every now and then, reflect on your goals and reassess them, perhaps, or remind yourself why you're doing this in the first place. Um, Note your progress. Pay attention to where you're able to stretch for longer times or run for longer times or whatever. Reward yourself. That's where the chocolate comes in, right?
Yeah.
Um, Keep on going. Don't quit. Spread the news. Allow people to know what you've done and don't give up. So there you go. Like I said,
So I
nothing really,
I have been
really
using
monumental.
the small goals or the small
Hmm.
keep it simple, whatever however you want to say it.
Hmm.
When I get stressed and anxiety starts kicking in about the size of my to-do list,
Hmm.
and I know there's a big thing I got to get done, I got to get it done today,
Hmm.
I'll do it tomorrow because I'll spend the rest of the day doing the next four things that I know I
Hmm.
can get done now.
Yeah, that's really important. I operate that way too. Yeah.
And instead of letting the anxiety get a hold of me
Yep.
and not getting anything done, I knock off the smaller things that, empty the dishwasher, dust the living room, whatever, that I can still check it off.
Yep. And feel accomplished. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's being kind to yourself. Yep. So there we go. There we go.
One of the things we have gotten away from that we need to bring back at least a little bit, especially for just today, is somebody's up. uh, Before
Not
we wrap
ginger.
up, yeah, yeah, my own ginger.
Yeah.
Uh, Before we wrap up, where can we
Yeah.
find you?
Oh my goodness. You can find me on a variety on your favorite podcast platform, the Be Inspired podcast. And of course, to sometimes read rather than listen, you can find me and my partner, Leslie Misko, on the Boyertown Area Expression. If you go to Boyertown expression.town.news, Boyertown Area Expression.town.news, you can find articles about many of the kinds of things that are going on around here in Boyertown area. But to find me, a variety of platforms, your favorite platform like Spotify and Anchor and Google and Apple and Castbox and all kinds of places. Okay.
And then I just learned the tricks to the Studio B website. It's
Okay.
Studio
StudioBBB.org.
B with three
B.
B's.
StudioBBB.org.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There we go.
Yeah.
And
All kinds of.
similarly, you can also catch Jane on Yergz Radio with both
Mhm.
Be Inspired podcast and Both Sides Now in replay, as well as Up the Middle, Yergz Tonight, Doggy Traders coming back in 2024, each with their what actually only up the middle, and Doggy Traders have their own YouTube channel. But social media, all that can be found at yergz.com and now also at yergzradio.com, where you can get Yergz Radio and now the different directories that we're on. We're expanding into different internet radio
Mhm.
directories finally and developing a bigger audience. Yergz Tonight is live 5 days a week on Yergz Radio, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific. That's kind of a funny thing. Yergz Tonight is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the West Coast. So I tell people about my
Well,
European audience.
there
But
you go.
anyway, that's where
Anyway,
I'm at.
so very good. Very good. I wanted to mention also at some point that just over the past couple of days, I've sent out invitations to
Yes.
people who inspire me as part of Studio B's summer project called I Am Proud. I've invited people to share their stories of what they are most proud of, what they have accomplished, what they have overcome. Perhaps if they're shy about talking about themselves, talking about someone in their lives whom they are proud of or who helped them along the way in some sort of way that they want to give a shout out to. But it's those stories that I want to share in our community because honestly, it's all about getting to know one another. The more we get to know one another, the more we like one another, the stronger our communities are, and the more hope we inspire in every one of us to do good things and to be good people. Coming up, we didn't get to this today, Ross, and yet hopefully we will be able to talk about where in our culture we go to quote, learn to be good, learn to be good people. And I want to talk about that at some point
Yeah.
because as one of our listeners has suggested, churches while they are in decline in attendance, we need to figure out how we can help each other, build each other up, promote good character and all those characteristics that make for a strong society. Someday we'll get there.
That
And the
definitely much needed.
last thing I'd like to do, and this is a personal thing, every New Year's, the relatives who took over the Ann Landers, the Pauline Phillips of the world, the Dear Abby people,
Hmm.
they reprint her resolutions. And if you don't mind indulging me, I'd like to read them because they inspire me every year.
Yeah.
So it's just for today. Just for today, I will live through this day only. I will not brood about yesterday or obsess about tomorrow. I will not set far reaching goals or try to overcome all of my problems at once. I know that I can do something for 24 hours that would overwhelm me if I had to keep it up for a lifetime. Just for today, I will decide to be happy. I will not dwell on thoughts that depress me. If my mind fills with clouds, I will chase them away and fill with sunshine. Just for today, I will accept what is. I will face reality. I will correct those things that I can correct and accept those I cannot. Just for today, I will improve my mind. I will read something that requires effort, thought, and concentration. I will not be a mental loafer. Just for today, I will make a conscious effort to be agreeable. I will be kind and courteous to those who cross my path, and I'll not speak ill of others. I will improve my appearance, speak softly, and not interrupt when someone else is talking. Just for today, I will refrain from improving anybody but myself. Just for today, I will do something positive to improve my health. If I'm a smoker, I'll quit if I get off the couch and take a brisk walk, even if it's only around the block. Just for today, I will gather the courage to do what's right and take responsibility for my own actions. And then an item sent to them by a reader from New Delhi, India. This year, no resolutions, only some guidelines. Man has subjected himself to thousands of self inflicted bondages. Wisdom comes to a man who lives according to the true eternal laws of nature. And the prayer of St. Francis: of which there are a lot of versions, contains a powerful message. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. Grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love, for it is in giving that we received, and in pardoning that we are pardoned. And he adds, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. So, with those, may 2024 bring good health, peace, and joy to everyone.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
Amen.
indulging. Thank you for
Oh, my
indulging
pleasure.
me. But those, honestly, I read that every year, and I'm encouraged by that every year. So I wanted to share that with our listeners.
Is that has her family taken over the two?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't even
Yep.
realize that they're probably quite senior, almost like
Mm-hmm.
Paul Harvey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the
She's
Howard
gone.
the
Yeah.
Howard Stern sequel is coming up too this week.
Really?
Yeah, finally.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I got to sit down and get back to doing episodes for that. I'm way behind.
Very good. Very good. Well, next time we can talk about some other things.
Absolutely.
Um, absolutely. And possibly some more discussion about AI deepfakes and what we can do in light of the fading social media guide rails, because that's getting kind of scary, I notice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's about 45 minutes for number 2 this week.
Okay. And whenever you're ready, we can share some more. How's that? Okay.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Meanwhile, I'm going to go find my grandpuppy and give her some treats and some love.
Nice. I'm going to go find my child puppy and the human one as well and feed them both.
Very good. Very good. Always good to see you. Once
Likewise.
again, this is Both Sides Now, and I'm Jane Stahl.
And I'm Yergz.
And have a happy, healthy, prosperous, loving New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.